So nearby everybody. How are we doing today?
Don't ask us that.
Great.
You already know.
It sums it up, doesn't it? We're all hungover. In the often complementary and sometimes clashing spheres of design and fashion, there's one woman who commands respect and fear among almost everybody involved. Anna Wintour. A commanding presence who's maintained a stranglehold on the stewardship of Vogue magazine for 3 decades, Wintour's obsession with all things fashion once managed to sink an unrelated magazine about your house and your garden, called House and Garden. So what do you guys know about Anna Wintour?
Nothing.
What do you guys know about fashion? I say, knowing that we're all sat here in t-shirt and hoodies.
A bit. Not a lot. I wouldn't say I was fashionable. I wear a lot of like casual sort of clothes like t-shirts and jeans and Vans.
Do you know what could make you more fashionable if you wore some Fact Fiend merch? The thing is, I went to reach over to some Fact Fiend merch. We have it all on the off camera here, and I picked up the stuff from Psycho. I'm like, that's not ours, that's theirs.
What about the one with my face on it?
Oh yeah, let's do that. We got some merch with Nisha's face on it. Oh, and so you guys don't know much about the Vogue magazine and Anna Wintour?
No.
Okay, so she's one of the most well-regarded figures in the industry, largely because everyone's terrified of her. Like, she is noted as being one of the most powerful women on the planet, full stop. And she frequently ends up appearing in those lists of like top most influential people or women on the planet, depending on like how, I guess, sexist the magazine feels that day. But like, she's one of the most just well-respected figures in that industry, and the fact that she just controls Vogue and what goes in Vogue means that fashion basically has to go through her. She decides what fashion is. And would it surprise you to learn, knowing that she is the direct inspiration for Miranda Priestly from The Devil Wears Prada?
No, that's not a surprise, really. She's really scary in that film.
Yeah, like Meryl Streep is just terrifying.
Like, that's the thing is, I've never even sat down and watched that movie, but I know that character's terrifying in that movie.
Just by looking at like screenshots like that, she's scary.
So I watched the movie recently, which is why I wrote this article, because I was like, man, this is a good movie. I love me some Meryl Streep just showering the screen with her acting chops, and just every scene she's in is fantastic. You cannot take your eyes off her. Like, she has such a commanding presence of just like the moment she's on screen, it's like all attention is on her. And just this immaculately maintained facade, which during the film is broken down during a scene that like genuinely like threw me off, because it's like throughout the movie, like just Miranda Priestly like absolutely just impeccably maintained. Then there's a scene where like I forget the name of the character now.
Andy,
that's it. Yeah, she walks in and she's just sat in sweats on the sofa without makeup on, and it like threw me off. And I was like, that's not the same character, is it? She just sat there like.
that always happens though. Like in films, you get like strong characters or scary characters.
Yes.
You eventually see like, I guess, a more human side to them. Think,
Got to show their vulnerability.
Exactly.
Which I don't believe happens all that much in the novel on which The Devil Wears Prada is based. And in the novel, the character of Miranda Priestly is a lot less sympathetic, and she's a huge bitch, which is why Anna Wintour does not really like that version of the story, because it's supposedly based on her. And I have to say supposedly because it's never been confirmed, but if you look at the film, you look at a picture of her, it's like it's definitely her.
But considering how you've mentioned like her attitude, it sounds like she's not the kind of woman you want to get on the bad side of.
Exactly, yes. And speaking of her bad side, she is well known for her explosive temper, which has led to the awesome and terrifying sobriquet of Nuclear Wintour. That is fucking. That's a. Like, do you always say back when we do Wiki Weekends? Band names. Band name. And for anyone out there who's wondering, well, how do you know that the character is based on it if it's never been confirmed? So I'll just say, well, when Anna Wintour went to watch The Devil Wears Prada, the first thing she did after she got out of the premiere was call up the person who decorates her office and say, sort it out. Because she looked, and Miranda Priestly's office in The Devil Wears Prada was just her office. And in specific regards to the inspiration for Devil Wears Prada, she is similarly a terrifying presence to be around. And one of the stories that I found while researching this article is that there was an intern once who saw her fall over and walked past and just ran off. And when they asked like a superior about it later, said, should I have helped? I was like, no, do not help her. You did the right thing.
Just don't acknowledge that happened.
This is just like a headcanon I have of like just Star Wars.
I'm aware.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Star Wars. And I've always thought that some of those robot chicken skits they do about Star Wars are pretty accurate. Like, do you know the Emperor walking around, he's got like Stormtrooper? Stormtrooper. I think that's something that must have happened.
Stormtrooper.
My lord.
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 Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper.
And I know George Lucas sat in a lot of those skits to tell them if they were accurate to his universe or not, but the one that I'm thinking is like when Darth Vader first became Darth Vader, do you think he ever fell over in front of a stormtrooper? Because he's got new legs. Because he had to go through rehabilitation. Like, do you think he ever fell over at some point and had like a stormtrooper doing like Force Awakens?
To the wall. Yeah.
Do you think that ever happens? I saw Darth Vader fall over. No, you did the right thing. You let the Dark Lord of the Sith stand up. You let him sort his own problems out.
I don't want to massively bring the tone down.
Okay.
But when you were talking about Darth Vader and having his new legs and stuff and things happening behind the scenes,
Yes.
you know how when you have limbs chopped off you can get phantom pains?
Yes.
Do you reckon that you can get phantom erections?
Maybe.
Where did you...
My mind just went there.
Why?
And sometimes you just got to say it out
Take your
loud.
mind out the gutter, Brad.
Bloody hell.
Fair enough. Bring it back to Anna Wintour and her... Just... One sec. Bring it back.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Bring it back to Anna Wintour, in addition to being the inspiration for Miranda Priestly, she's also noted as being the inspiration for another highly fashion-focused character from fiction. And do you want to guess what it is?
Edna Mode.
Yeah, and you can probably tell it. So what I'm going to do, like, you know that because you know the title of the article and we spoke about it. But first things first, I'm going to show you just a picture of Anna Wintour. It's a bit blurry because it's the one from the article, but we have...
Oh, yeah.
That's Anna Wintour right there. If people don't know, there'll be a picture behind me. It's like that bowl cut on the glasses. So if not in her demeanor, like Edna Mode is definitely inspired by her look. Edna Mode's so fucking good. Like, why does she not get a spin-off? With all the superhero movies on Marvel and Disney Plus, why is there not the Edna Mode commentary track for superhero movies of her criticizing the costumes? One of the things I like about her character is like that moment where she's a fashion designer and she fucking hates it. And like you have like Mr. Incredible walking around her house. It's like you see this massive house that's actually very successful and wealthy. And it's like she's depressed, she's unhappy. And it's like, what's going on? It's like, I used to design clothes for gods. And that's something you never really hear about in like superhero movies. Like, who designs their costumes? Normally they're made themselves or they just come out of nowhere and you don't really get an explanation for it. But like, in that universe, I love that. Like, yeah, they were made by a famous fashion designer and that fashion designer is salty because they got to make clothes for the, like I said, gods.
Nothing super about them, spoiled, stupid little stick figures with poofy lips who think only about themselves. I used to design for gods.
And it's similar in a way to Anna Wintour's opinions on fashion. We can't really use clips of her because she rarely gives interviews, but we can just use the clip from The Devil Wears Prada, where just Priestly breaks down like the sweater that Andy's wearing. And it's like, you don't care about fashion? And she just, like, in, like, 30 seconds completely, like, annihilates her. Like, well, you're wearing this colour, which is, a cast-off from a cast-off of, like, this one show many years ago that influenced it and makes it all the way down to, like, the bargain bin at JCPenney or whatever she says. And she's just talking about how impactful fashion is. And it's like, this is an industry worth billions and billions of dollars that has, like, it impacts every facet of, like, the life that you lead, even if you don't know it. And the fact that you're so dismissive of it is hilarious to me.
However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff.
I've not seen Devil Wears Prada.
You should. It's very good.
Yeah, I admittedly should. Is there a scene where she talks about how bad capes are?
There is not, no. There is many scenes of her looking at the out, and it's one of the things. It's the only aspect of the film that aged poorly, and it's like obviously the fashionable outfits that wear. Just some of them look really bad because they were fashionable at the time, but they're not anymore.
Well, I mean, 90s fashion is coming back into trend, so we can't really say shit about it, can we?
I saw, like, outside my house, like, a couple months ago, 3 guys wearing bucket hats and Fred Perry jumpers, and I'm like, what is going on? I just saw that. Like, just like that trend on TikTok where it's like they're making fun of skinny jeans. Like, you can fuck off with that.
Skinny jeans and side partings.
Yeah, apparently curtains are back.
Never. I'm never showing that much forward in a video.
Can we do that? Can we, like, if we hit a goal on the Patreon of just get Karl curtains?
No, I don't want to do that. Although admittedly a difficult person to work with, Wintour's results, they spoke for themselves. And Condé Nast, who own Vogue, decided to let her steward another magazine, see if she could achieve similar levels of success. And that magazine was House and Garden. And that ended up being one of the most costly mistakes they would ever make. And do you want to guess why?
She tore them down.
Just fashion. So she was like in charge of House and Garden magazine. Where's the fashion in that? There's no fashion in House and Garden magazine, and the problem started almost immediately. So one of the first things Wintour did is cancel $2 million worth of pre-approved articles and photo spreads. She then started to steer the good ship House and Garden into the waters marked fashion by first hiring a bunch of fashion writers to write for a magazine about furniture, including one from Vanity Fair. In the industry rumour there is that she needs to hobble the competition. The problem is, Vanity Fair wasn't the competition for House and Garden. Architecture Digest was. That's why she was brought on. It's like, you're competing with Architecture Digest. Like, no, I'm competing with Vanity Fair. And then similarly started poaching a bunch of models, all of whom would appear in the photo spreads that she did. And that was her thinking there of like, rather than just showing a picture of the house, people want to see someone living in the house. If you want to see someone living in the house, you want to be attractive and well-dressed. The problem is that's not what the audience of House and Garden really wanted, to the point where when the first magazine arrived, which she rebranded HG, House and Garden, you know, that HG, when it first arrived in the mailbox of subscribers, many of them threw it away because they didn't realise it was House and Garden magazine because it looked nothing like House and Garden magazine, and they thought it was another free magazine they were being sent as just like a giveaway or something like that.
She called it House and Garters.
Well, it's odd that you mentioned that because critics of the magazine and the moves she were making started derisively referring to House and Garden as Vanity Chair. And that, to me, that's some toxic. She should have poached that writer.
So basically, they killed the magazine.
Not right away, because for the first few months under Wintour's stewardship, the magazine did see a small uptick in circulation, but she was offered the editor job at Vogue a short while after taking this job, immediately jumped ship, because why would she not? It's Vogue. It's a position she's held since then, and there's no signs that she's ever going to relent and give up that position. So she basically left them high and dry, going in this new direction, but with no one who could help take them in that same direction. So they were sort of listless and didn't really know what to do, and 5 years later, the US version of House and Garden folded.
She just came on board, reversed the ship, and then bailed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's literally that meme, isn't it? Come in, cancel $2 million worth of articles and photo shoots, refuse to elaborate, leave.
I really need to have a word with her about bringing back bucket hats. Like, fucking hell. What is she thinking?
Speaking of bucket hats and your idea to make me wear one, which is not going to happen, we need to talk while we're on The Office, because it's a rarity. I think it's the first time we've managed to have us all in recording one video. And if people out there are enjoying the idea of us all being in the office recording together, they can help us realise that dream by subscribing to the Untitled side channel, which will be listed below, which is supported by... I'm really good at this. I'm getting so much better at shilling. My life depends on it. So one of you guys want to help me shill?
How far we've come.
Yeah. Soulless corporate businessman right here. We all help build up this channel. It makes sense that we're able to use it as an avenue to advertise our own projects, one of which is Untitled Side Channel. And in keeping with the fact that almost everything on this channel is like improvised or decided while we're drunk, Lucas, you came up with a great idea while drunk yesterday for a format you want to do, and I want you to tell the audience at home that, because I'm excited to do it and I hope they are too.
Yeah, so I want to organise a stream where we essentially do like a fact fiend version of is it Family Feud, is it?
I think so.
The one where it's like they ask 100 people to answer a question.
Yeah, so I want to like, at some point, survey our patrons on Patreon.
Link to which you can find below.
To all like answer some survey questions so that I can then present a version of that game show where you guys are the contestants on stream.
And we've got to try and answer questions about it. And since you mentioned like Family Feud, can we please put in that clip of the most bro moment ever? And it's where two guys are playing like Family Feud, and it's just like, oh, which one of the 7 dwarves would you use to describe your wife? And both men just go, and not impressed. It's just like the most bro moment ever. They just look and go, not doing it. I'm not falling for that one.
Which of the 7 dwarfs describes your wife in bed?
Then you also have the other one's just like the guy without, like, name one thing you wouldn't want to see in your house late at night. Naked grandma! Naked grandma! Without thinking.
He's thought about it before.
Oh. It's happened to him before.
Yeah.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh?